to those days.
Looking at the image of the modern day politician, and the perception is always negative. As soon as you say politician, when Isika, are you going to live with it, or something should be done to change the perception of a politician now?
Well, the attitude to politicians is worldwide. It's not only confined to Ghana. I think we are a very endangered species. We should admit that. Because maybe apart from policemen, usually when they conduct surveys, is policemen. Sometimes they bring in some lawyers and judges, but the politician would always be among the worst performers, maybe the worst four.
But the African politician is...
Yes, I'm saying that it's worldwide. Except to say and to admit that I think we are taking too much of a nosedive. We are cascading down the hill, and we should be careful. We should be careful. I keep saying this because, you see, we talk about why are politicians castigated. We are castigated because people think that, politicians are corrupt. And it's coming up strongly because what happens in the award of contracts and so on and so forth, right? The contractors wouldn't want to own up, but when you engage him behind the curtain, he will tell you that, Minister Nediwe Mame, and can send me 10%. I mean, we know this. In the minority, we were inundated. When we push them, they will tell you. But let's face it, what is also making politicians corrupt? Let's address the issue, the central issue. And as far as I'm concerned, if we don't address it and it persists, it will produce the kind of politician that this nation desires. We all know the Constitution provides for every political party to be organized democratically. The internal democracy should register in the affairs of every political party. What I do know, though, is that every democracy is guided and guarded. There's no democracy anywhere in the world where, for instance, at the end of the life of a parliament, entering parliament becomes an all-comers game. Everybody throws in his hat to contest a particular constituency. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. But the parties in Ghana, the parties in Nigeria, the parties in Kenya, they are allowing that. For whatever reason, nobody knows. And to the extent that we do that, we allow people to come in, and we know that people are paying cola, people are paying drinks at the level of the constituency to get elected. And brother, you know that. People are paying huge sums, if I'm to be blunt, to get on the ticket of political parties. You think the person is in politics as a Father Christmas? We are not. Parliament is not a church where you sing to Abodo the Biwunzabeka. If a politician plants today, he wants to harvest tomorrow. So if there are people out there who are eager to take money from the politician, if you don't grease the person's palms, you will not get elected. If there are people out there who are eager to do that, you think the politicians would also not be eager to replenish their stock once they get elected? And if you make him a minister to award contracts and take something to replenish his own stock and also to reposition himself for the next election, we are humans. That is what we should speak to. That is what we should speak to. Apart from the members of parliament, even the leadership of the various political parties, beginning from the constituency executives, and perhaps even the polling station executives. You want to be a polling station executive, you must go and see your own colleague that you are in the same house with, Jack. A person be police station chairman. And they koto be a mamma no man. And go and buy him maybe a bottle of beer before he will support him. So if he wins, what does he want? Assembly members, they are supposed to be non-partisan, but we all know what goes on. You have a constituency executive who want to come and serve. They're not going to be paid. And the person must grease the palms of people before he gets elected as a constituency chairman, as a constituency vice chairman, constituency organizer, who's not going to be paid. He must pay money to people to get elected. Regional executives, we all know what goes on. And it afflicts all the parties, NPP, NDC, PPP, all of them. We know this. And yet we pretend that everything is good with us. National executives. My brother, if we don't stop this, you'll be cultivating a very corrupt political class. I believe that is where the real issue is. We went to London on a study tour about 3 weeks back. My colleagues were with us, the minority leadership and the majority were together. And when we went there, even though I knew, in the midst of my colleagues, I asked the chairman of one of the parties, the Conservative Party, my brother, so how were you? You are the chairman of the Conservative Party. How are you elected? They said, oh, election. I was appointed by the Prime Minister. That is how it's done. That is how it's done.
So the stakes are low.
So, yes, you are appointed by the Prime Minister to help the organization of the party. The parties have administrators who are manning professionals. They are salaried, they are paid. Of course, the administrators may have volunteers helping out and so on. But if you have maybe the accountant of the party and so on, they are professional, they are paid. But the chairman, the organizer, the fundraiser, they are not elected. You elect a presidential candidate, and then he goes about, the administration is there, the party's administration is there. He then brings together these people. Election is about organization. So he brings his organizers, the main organizer, the youth organizer, the women organizer, and he brings his chairman. So if he wins and he wants to maintain them for good work done, he maintains them. If he loses, he goes away with them. Another election is conducted, and of course, when they go away, the party will be administered by the professional administrators. That is how it's done everywhere. You come, you elect a chairman who has gone around the length and breadth of this country and grease people's palms, we know, and we pretend that everything is all right. The person comes, and then he tells us that, oh, this is my presidential candidate. I don't like this man. So, for instance, with the NPP, what happened? We had an Afoko who came with his own candidate in mind. So he never even wanted to organize the primaries. So at the steering committee, at the executive, he was trying to prevent us from holding the primaries. He didn't like Akufo-Addo. The tribe, they didn't like Akufo-Addo. You know, so you know how come we're able to even get money to organize the primaries. I had to tell my colleagues in parliament, this is what is happening. Fortunately, we had every month we were making some deductions from the salaries of the members of parliament. So we had something set out there. And then it was that one, basically, that we used to organize elections. The candidates themselves had paid some money, but it wasn't enough. So we used it to top up, to help organize the primaries that produce Akufo-Addo. How can you have a national chairman who says that I don't want this man to win? How can we have it? But NPP, we have always had to live with this. There was a problem between Darocha and Edubuai. There was a problem between even Peter Lajiti and President Kufuor. I mean, we all knew in the party there was a problem. You remember the Concordia affair? That President Kufuor, as a candidate, had gone to procure some motor bicycles to help run the campaign. The chairman at that time said it was done on the blind side of the party executive, so the party is not responsible for it.
Yeah.
But Kufuor was the person who was going to contest. So that created a problem. Between President Kufuor and McMahon, there were some problems. Between President Kufuor and later Haruna Nseku, there were some problems.
So
why do you do that? Why do you, knowing that these are the problems, you always want to push your head into that news?
You think the presidential candidate should come with a chairman that he can work with?
Absolutely. Look at the National Constitution. The National Constitution, in I think Article 58, provides that the national executive of any political party shall be chosen, and underline the word chosen. It didn't say shall be elected. Of course, election is part of the mechanisms of choosing anyway. But the Constitution is very circumspect in the language it uses, that it shall be chosen, the national executive of a political party shall be chosen from all the regions of the country. Now, if you do the elections that we do, how are you able to satisfy that constitutional provision? Are not able to do that. And nobody is pressing it because the NPP is guilty, the NDC is guilty. All the political parties are guilty. So if the Nana Addo had to come with the old national executive, maybe together with the parliamentary party, together with the Council of Patrons, just like the nomination of the vice president. The president, it is who nominates ministers, right? So if the president is given the hand to nominate ministers to run the affairs of the entire country, in his political party, can't he be given the opportunity to, in consultation with others, maybe appoint these people to help run his elections? The elections is about him. It's about the party, of course, but at the center of it is his own personality. If you go to the constituencies, every constituency revolves around the member of parliament, or should I even say the parliamentary candidate. So in much the same way, the constituency parliamentary candidate should be given the opportunity to, the party should have an administrator at the center. And then beyond that, beyond the administration, if a person is elected, he brings on board his own chairman, organizers to run. If they win and he wants to maintain them, he maintains them. If he wins and he thinks that there were deficiencies in the performance of some of them and he wants to remove some of them, he could. But we are cultivating monocracy in our parties. And that is what is translating into our national life. We should be careful. I keep saying that I don't know what is going to happen, those of us in the NPP, and even in the NDC, I don't know what is going to happen in the next 20 years if we should continue what we are doing. Because now, increasingly, Parliament is being taken over by people with fat wallets. And we keep saying that debate in the chamber is taking a nosedive. Some people came to conduct a study into the performance of Parliament since the Fourth Republic. And they established that the best Parliament was the 1997-2000 Parliament, followed closely by the 2001-2004 Parliament. Why? Because of the caliber of people there. At the time, money had not also taken the center stage. Now money is taking center stage. And it's not helping us. So as a country, as political parties, we should do serious introspection.
Let me take a quick break and I'll come back. When I come back, I'm asking a very, very unfair question. I want to find out which is the best speaker you've ever worked with. What an unfair question.